Hello, everybody. Welcome to the review from Is It Cinematic Escape on YouTube. It is 8:44 p.m. I just happened to catch an early afternoon show of Black Adam, part of DCEU establishment, and as per usual, be spoiler free, and it's simply my opinion about what I experienced through the duration of this film. Full disclosure: when it came to the character of Black Adam, I knew next to nothing about him. His storyline, the concept. Of course, I knew that he was an anti-hero, a villain to a certain extent, but there was nothing about him that I felt uh, intrinsically devoted to when it came to researching uh, the overall concept of what made him such an interesting character. The closest thing that I could say I remember being sometime in the 80s and early 90s was watching that awful and low budget Shazam TV show that us kids during that period thought that was the greatest thing in the whole wide world, especially when you compare it to the 1960s Batman or even that live action Spider-Man show from the 70s, and you're just thinking, wow, I'm seeing my favorite comic book heroes on television screen, and this looks amazing. Now, as we're older, we're seeing all the technological advances and the characters being brought to life in a more faithful, colorful adaptation. You simply cannot help but think, man, what in the world was I watching during that period? How did I think that was great? But the joys of being young, I reckon. Uh, so Black Adam, if I'm not mistaken, and please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, originally was supposed to show up either in the first Shazam or in the sequel Shazam: Fury of the Gods, and of course we all know what happened for the worst part of 2 years that halted a lot of production and lives just in general. So they decided Dwayne Johnson decided, or AKA The Rock. It's funny how we do not associate it. We don't even simply call him by his real name anymore. We just call him The Rock. The Rock decided to really push forward with this project and make sure that it was done. And needless to say, I was a bit hesitant at first because, of course, I felt that DC got, I don't want to say lucky, but which is when it came to the Joker, even though that's more of an Elseworld uh, storyline, they didn't necessarily get lucky, but it's just that was just such an anomaly. I wasn't sure exactly how Black Adam was going to fare with his own film. I have to say, this was one of those pleasant surprises that I was not expecting. I mean, at all. It's the Black Adam, as most of you are well aware of, is a story of Teth Adam, this originally a slave in ancient Egypt, and using became infused with the power of Shazam after rising above tyranny due from the death of his son. And that's not a spoiler considering that you see it in the trailer. Then, as he's becoming more accustomed to modern life and using his abilities for in a much more darker, serious manner, you have the Justice Society who comes in and is attempting to stop him. And that's basically the gist of the story right then and there. There's nothing deep or philosophical within the concept of this film. You're not going in there watching, looking for any hidden messages, believing that you are going to find a meaning of life in this film. You are going in there with this understanding that Black Adam 2022, this film is nothing more than uh, full-blown action extravaganza for 2+ hours, one-liners, colorful special effects, wonderful action, and that's all you're there for. You're there for The Rock. The Rock essentially carries this film. Without him, I don't believe it would be as entertaining nor as good as it is. And his natural charisma and the fact that he plays this more fish out of water type of anti-hero in a modern world was very charming and different. And I do believe that this is something that DC should have been doing from the very beginning. Rather than attempting to match the Marvel formula, they should have stayed the course and said, we are going to really faithfully render these characters and not play it safe. We are going to establish ourselves separate from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Had they done that originally, I believe they would have been much better off. However, to see them correcting the course now, especially after Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Shazam, the Suicide Squad, and of course Black Adam, you're seeing more and more and more of them finally finding their foot in the cinematic universe. And Black Adam, if they had just did this from the beginning, I makes me wonder exactly where they would have been right now. I mean, as far as being a dominant uh, comic book cinematic format, where they would have been. Black Adam just simply floored me as a fan. I really just enjoyed it and made me that much more interested in the character. The Rock really brings it as far as being that intimidating force of nature. And again, you're not expecting The Rock to give any type of Oscar-worthy performance. You know exactly what you're getting, and he knew exactly what he was providing with his performance. And I thought he did a great job as Black Adam. I cannot wait to see what he does in the future with the character. And the fact that he fought so long and hard to make sure that this project stayed alive, all the more reason I feel that it's necessary that we, as whether cinema fans or even comic book fans, we go there and give him our support, because he stayed with this project and gave his blood, sweat, and tears to make sure that it did not end up in developmental hell. And for that, he has my respect, my forever respect, rather. Pierce Brosnan, playing Dr. Fate as part of the Justice Society, I thought was absolutely amazing. I that I guess you could view him as DC's Doctor Strange, and he was phenomenal. He gave such a wonderful, heartwarming. And you don't expect anything less for Pierce Brosnan, anyways. But Doctor Fate was mind blowing. I loved how they brought his powers to life on the big screen. It was just so clever and original, and provided the necessary escapism. You just couldn't believe exactly what he was doing as far as interwoven certain spells and imagery and visual and mirror-like dimensions similar to Doctor Strange. It was all over the place and beautiful at the same time. Hawkman, I was initially hesitant because I loved the character of Hawkman growing up, and when I saw Aldous Hodge playing the character, again, that kind of made me a bit but overall, Hawkman was awesome in the film. Watching him and Black Adam, and of course Dr. Fate going head to head with him, was pure comic book fantasy coming to life. I don't know how else to describe it when it comes to those three battling it out. Adam Smasher, I wasn't overly familiar with him growing up. I had to ask anyone who was familiar with the character, is he just nothing more than a... this is going to sound insulting, but at the same time it's not. Is he just a giant version of Ant-Man combined with Deadpool? Because as soon as he put on the mask, I just thought Deadpool. And it just kind of made me go, what's Deadpool doing in this movie? Other than that, he was okay, and it didn't really make or break the movie for me. Cyclone, don't really know much about her, if anything at all. So I could have honestly taken her or leave her. It wasn't anything that I felt. For me personally, she didn't necessarily add anything exceptionally interesting to the concept. She was just there as far as I was concerned. You could have simply had Black Adam, Pierce Brosnan, Hawkman for the duration of the film, and that would have been just fine. But still, they provided the necessary levity that comes with such a brooding type of atmosphere when it's associated with Black Adam. The action was top notch, pure comic book coming to life. Once again, I have to state this emphatically. This is something that they should have been doing from the very beginning, rather than playing it safe. Had they just stuck to this formula, there is no telling where they would be right now. Everything as far as the action was concerned, the special effects and the different type of colorful imageries that was just associated with this film jumped out at you, and it was so fun, and quite a bit of surprising emotional moments as well that I was definitely not expecting. The musical score part of this film too, very reminiscent of the superhero likeness that you would come to expect when you are finding yourself fully immersed within this epic and grandiose universe. I have to say, this is probably 2022 has been a very momentous year when it comes to cinema. I have not, at least as far as I can remember, there hasn't been a bad film, in my opinion, in 2022 that I haven't enjoyed. This has been such a surprising year for cinema, quality cinema, that is, you finding yourself wondering, for me, how in the world do you top this? And Black Adam is by far just one of the best comic book films that I've ever watched, by far. And that's saying a lot coming from someone who loves comic book films. As I'm not going to say that it's the greatest film in the world. I'm not going to say that everyone's going to enjoy it. I'm going to just state this. Do not go in there expecting anything deep or philosophical. It's about as straightforward as you're going to get. And You're just there to have fun and be entertained, and it provides all of that in spades. I highly recommend it, and it's also great for kids too. There's nothing overly violent, profane, lewd. It's just something that even the family can enjoy, and I do recommend it. I would definitely watch it again, and when it comes out on DVD, it will be added to my collection that you see behind me. Um, be sure to stay for the big credit scene. You will be surprised. It's not. It was kind of the worst kept secret, but at the same time, it wasn't, because you started to wonder if they were actually going to do it, and the fact that they did it blew me away. I cannot wait to see what is going to happen with the Black Adam sequel. Black Adam, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 10 out of 10 for being just a fun, straightforward, entertaining film, and I do recommend it. 2 thumbs up as well. Let me know in the comment section what you thought about it, and let me know on my Facebook or my Discord server what you thought. And the next review that I will be uploading on my YouTube will be the Emmett Till story film called Till. Be on the lookout for that, and take care, my friends, and remain safe and healthy. Peace out.